Guys, welcome back to Heroes World. I'm here with AJ. AJ is playing as Raven Guard. What's up, AJ?
No, just don't look at him. He's
No worries. So let's just go through the list, AJ. So
okay.
What we have down here?
All right, so we got scouts right here.
We have some scouts.
We have Centaurian Devastators, a big blob of them.
Yep.
We got JPI
Is it one
behind
unit?
them. One unit of 6.
One unit of 6. Okay.
Big, so
JPIs.
JPI, Vindicator,
Yep.
Shrike with JPI,
Yep.
Intercessors,
Okay.
Vindicator. They're in cursors. I didn't build them, so they're my infiltrators right now, but they're in cursors.
In cursors.
And we got Aethon
amazing
here.
new models.
And we got two beautiful bricks of shooty plasma freaking Inceptor guys.
Yeah.
Plus a hammer strike to make
Very
2,000
nice.
points on the dot.
Perfect. And this is AJ's first game with this list, so bear with us as we go through it. On my end, I'm bringing the Lands of the Emperor. I have a unit of prosecutors here. I have another unit of prosecutors. I have 2 grav tanks, one in the back there, one over here. I have Trajan in a unit of custodian guard. I have a warden, a unit with a blade champ. And then in the sky, I have 6 Terminators with a Terminator Captain, and another unit of Wardens with Blade Champion in the sky. For my equipment, I only have the +1 AP and +1 damage axe on the guy on the Terminator unit.
Oh, I forgot to add one more thing. I also have my lieutenant, who's right here, and he's equipped with the Vectora enhancement.
Perfect.
To make 2,000 points on the dot.
Alright, so we're going to get ready to go. We're going to roll for first turn, and then we'll be right back. So let me just set up the camera. Alright, well, welcome to the game. So this is at AJ won the roll and got first turn. First thing I want to draw is the attention to the defeat. So I was beaten 42 to 48 in this game, but I want to draw your attention down to the objectives because, as you can see, in the first in Scorched Earth, AJ only scored it twice. He scored 10 and 5, 10 in turn 2, 5 in turn 3. And my end here in Scorched Earth, I scored everything at the back end of the game, 5, 5, and 15 at the end. And if you look at my secondaries, in the first turn, AJ scores 5, I score 2. Second turn, he scores full 7, I score 0. In turn 3 is my biggest turn. I score both mine, and so does AJ. He scores 9, I score 8. But then turn 4, I score nothing again. And the reason for this is because during these turns, every time I go up to a unit, so I got assassination. When I try to go after his infantry, he gets, for 1 CP, he can get a reactive move of 6 inches. So it makes it really hard for me to get into close combat with him. So if I'm not shooting them down, it's very difficult. And then the other thing, it was overwhelming force was the same thing. Overwhelming force means I take away an objective that he already controlled. But when I moved, he moved off the objective. He wasn't controlling it, and then I didn't get to charge the unit, and I didn't get to kill it, so I couldn't get to score it. So a lot of that came down to what was happening there. But let's just go to the game. He got first turn. There wasn't much he could do. He moved his Inceptors across here with a run, got him just barely towing this objective. Over here, his lieutenant came out, towed this objective. This lieutenant, a lone op, stealth, and then being able to scout gets him to the center objective really easy. And over here, his scouts went and took this objective as well. So, pretty aggressive turn for him. He moved out, got all the objectives. I had to react in return. So when we go back to bottom of turn 1, you'll see that I moved my grav tanks out, one going up here behind all the scenery so that he can't get his Vindicator shots off. And then this one came out here. I was trying to threaten this position here. I know he has his big Centurion block here, which is supposed to be devastating against vehicles. First time I'm playing against them, but I still want to pressure this this objective as fast as I could. So I advanced both my tanks. They had no targets to shoot at anyway. I ran the Witcher, my prosecutors up, and this prosecutor unit, in order for me to do established locus, I would have to be able to move without a run to this objective and do an action. I couldn't do that, but I was able to secure no man's land with just this objective because I didn't have enough to threaten this objective up here. So by running them, I was able to get onto the objective. His little lone op lieutenant ran behind the wall, and I was able to put points on this objective and score at least 2 points here. So not a really good first turn start for me, but right now that's just the way the game is. Going into top of 3, this is where AJ pushed everything out. He moved his hammer strike out here so they could strip stealth off this unit over here. His aggressors moved out, but they can only move 4, so he got 4 out of the 6 out that were able to draw a line on this tank. And then he dropped all 12 of his Inceptors with plasmas here to take out Trajan's unit, which he effectively did. But it took all 12 of them firing in, and at the end he lost 1 guy from here from Hazardous, and I think he lost 2 more here from Hazardous as well. So he was up to a pretty decent lead right now. I believe at this point he had scored 10 for Scorched Earth, and then he had a 7 from the primary, from his secondaries, and then so it was 22-2 at this point, and it was my turn. And I had rapid ingress, my Terminator block, which is 6 Terminators and the Terminator Captain here. So I was good to clap back as well in my turn. So let's go to bottom of 2. Bottom of 2, as you can see up here, I dropped in my Wardens now in my turn with a 9-inch charge here. I was trying to get across. This tank obviously could fire down at the plasmas, and then it moved up and charged them after the Wardens had failed to charge. Over here, the Sisters had been killed a turn before by his Vindicator. I moved this other unit of Sisters up and tried to peel off some wounds off of this Lieutenant again, who had crept back on the point. This guy is very annoying to my army especially. He had also picked up his unit of JPIs with Strike and dropped them back here. But I have a Warden sitting here as well, which had tried to move up, but were in a position to go threaten back if he did. The tank moved up and fired down and killed the 2 Centurions behind the wall. They were in cover, so it made it difficult. But then my Terminators moved up and in the process shot down the shot and took off some wounds off the Hammer Strike. When I moved up here, he ran his scouts back here. But I was able to make a 10-inch charge and charge the Hammer Strike. And in effect, on the pile-in, I was able to pile into the Centurion that was out here. And in combat between the captain and one of the Terminators, I was able to strip down 2 more Centurions. So there's 4 Centurions gone. He has only 2 left. And we took out the Hammer Strike and engaged the scouts. So pretty good turn on my end. Over here, there was only 2 Inceptors left of one squad and one of the other squad. And with the tank shock and stuff, I'd taken this objective back. So right now, I was controlling this objective and the top objective. So things were starting to swing into my way. But once again, I didn't score on primaries, on secondaries at all. So I was again, I think I got only 0s in my secondaries, right at bottom of turn 2. So going into turn 3, we have AJ is now really up there because he has almost 30-2 lead. And that's before his secondaries. And if you notice, AJ really scored his secondaries all the way through the game because, with uppy, downy, every turn and stuff, he's able to move around the board pretty quickly and get to positions where he needs to go. The Vindicator started to fire down at the Terminators. He took down 3 Terminators, actually both Vindicators. This Vindicator moved up and fired first with the Hunter Killer and his shot. But I used the stratagem where after I get shot, I get to move d6. I rolled a 4, and the Terminators disappeared behind the wall. That meant that these Centurions couldn't fire at them, and this Vindicator couldn't fire at them either. So he turned his attention and took out my Prosecutors here. Up here, the tank continued to do what it had to do, but he moved his Inceptors and took this point back. Aethon Shaan tried to charge the tank, but he rolled a double 4. He rolled 4 twice, and he failed his charge. So he never saw combat. Yeah, so all in all, it was looking really good for AJ, and I hadn't done enough yet. But I think bottom of 3 was my go turn. So bottom of 3 was my go turn, and this is where I got Display of Might and Bring It Down. Perfectly good secondaries for me to get. My so Display of Might, what happens in my command phase, I split the Terminators into individual units, which is something I can do in Lions. The Wardens came up and advanced, and they were able to advance and charge. These Wardens were able to advance and charge here and take off Strike's unit here. These Wardens came and killed off everything that was on this point except for Aethon Shaan, all that included also these all the Inceptors here. So basically, this whole side of the board was kind of cleared up except for Aethon Shaan. These 2 Terminators took out that very annoying lieutenant. This Terminator captain took out the Vindicator, and then tied up this unit of jump pack intercessors who had Power Fist and took him down by a couple of wounds, but he popped his reduce all damage to 1 ability, which he then brought back with Gilded Champion, so I could do it again. So it was looking really good for me. There was not a lot left. AJ had 1 year JPIs here, Vindicator, and his unit back here that was holding home objective. And I believe he has 1 year scouts that were up in the air at this point. So I decided to claw back here, but it was still a fair ways to go. We go to top of 4, and AJ got, on top of 4, he got Engage on all fronts and Cleanse. Right? Is that correct? Yeah, so Engage on all fronts means he had to get into table quarters, which was pretty easy for him to do because all he had to do was he dropped his scouts back here, so that's 1 table quarter. Aethon Shaan went into this table quarter here, so he just jumped up and came back down here. And he already had his guys in this quarter, and the Vindicator was on this line. So I believe he got 4 for extend battle lines, and then these guys recovered assets, and I believe he recovered assets here, so he got maximum on recovered assets. So there was nothing much I could do there. He scored really good heavy secondaries again, but he got no primary because I was holding most of the primary at this point. In my turn, I was able to go ahead and in my turn, I was able to go ahead and Aethon Shaan, I moved my Wardens up, and this unit of Wardens came back through the wall between the 2 of them shooting. This was where I made the biggest mistake, because at the end of his turn, I picked up these 2 Terminators. I put them in the sky, which is what they can do. And instead of dropping them back here and going after his home point, I dropped them in the middle for some reason. I had a brain fart. And this really where it cost me majority of the game, because if I dropped both these Terminators out here, I would have been able to advance and take this point away from him. And if I had done that, then when at the final turn, I would have scorched this objective, and I would have got enough points to probably take the game. But because I had a brain fart and I dropped the Terminators in the middle of the board where they had no use whatsoever, which is totally my mistake, there was not enough points for me to go back and capture the final point that I needed to take this game and win. But considering that at the top of 3, I was down 30-2, and to come back to 48-42 at the end, and pretty much dominate the board, because at the end of the game, the only things that were alive for AJ were the scouts over here and his opening unit of, I think, these inceptors over here, or I think they're just regular intercessors over here. So there's only 2 units left of his in the game, and I still had 2 units of wardens. I had 1, 2, 3 terminators on the board, and both my tanks were up and running. So this game was very close at the end, but I think, had I pulled a few more secondaries and been a little bit more aggressive, I think a lot of my positioning was off in this game. But that was it. That was the game in a nutshell. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions or concerns. But that's it. Until next time, take care. Keep on hobbying one day at a time.